Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the next topic, which is known as the properties of matter. Okay, so this is lecture 6. Then let's discuss the properties of matters. And first of all, I'll review the previous. Matter is anything that has, let me get my pen. That pen is okay. Okay, which has mass and takes up space. Now, what is mass? Mass is actually a measure of the amount of stuff or material the object contains. Now, you have to be very careful that you cannot confuse with weight, because weight is something which measures the gravity. Okay, so a measure of the amount, a measure of the amount of stuff the object contains. For example, if you have the, if you have your laptop, right? And what is the length and width of this laptop is actually, and the weight of all the accessories which are within the laptop, this accounts for the mass. Then we come to the volume. Okay, so volume is a measure of the space occupied by the object. So when you put your laptop on the table, the space which is occupied by the laptop is actually its volume. So next we go to the slide. V is for volume. So briefly, volume is the amount of space something takes up. So whether it is a speck of dust or a Jupiter, all matter takes up space. Now, measuring the volume of. So first of all, you need to see that whenever you are measuring the volume, तो volume we measure for liquids, okay, for solids, okay, and then for gases. Now, when you measure the volume of liquids, the instrument which is normally used is the graduated cylinder, and the method is the displacement method, which we will discuss in the laboratory classes. And the unit for the volume is liter or milliliter, right? Now, one thing you have to be very careful about the, about the how to measure the liquids. For example, if these are the two graduated cylinders in which one is filled with water and the other is filled with mercury. So water is colorless and mercury is, the color of mercury is silver. ठीक है, silver color होता है इसका. अब this is the line which is drawn over here and the line which is drawn over here. These two lines, these are called meniscus. What is this? This is meniscus. So plural जो है वो इसका menisci है, and this is actually the Greek word which means crescent. So it is, now this meniscus is actually the curve in the upper surface of the liquid close to the surface of the container. तो ये upper surface हम लेते हैं. अब यहाँ problem जो है वो ये है आपके लिए कि जब colorless liquid हो जैसे कि water, या जब colored liquid हो, the way mercury is, so how we can measure? Because the this is the concave meniscus, okay, and this is the convex. This is the convex meniscus, and this is the concave. So याद रखिएगा कि जब भी कभी आपने, इसका मतलब है कि ये आपके पास ऐसे आ गए, ठीक है, ऐसे और ऐसे. तो whenever you have colorless liquid, आपने meniscus, lower meniscus को check करना है, ठीक है. This will measure exactly. So whenever you go to find the volume of colored liquid, आप upper meniscus जो है, upper meniscus उसको आप measure करेंगे, ठीक है. Solids जो हैं उनको हम कैसे check करते हैं कि हम उनकी cube है उसकी 3 sides को हम लेते हैं, that will then known as that is known as कि आपने इसका जो है वो मेजर किया है वॉल्यूम। सो इसके लिए हम यूनिट्स यूँ करते हैं कि आपकी ये इसकी लेंथ हो जाती है, इसकी विड्थ हो जाती है, एंड दिस इज द लेंथ multiply by width multiply by this height. तो all the things these are in the meters, तो ये आ जाएगा आपके पास meters क्यूब। और स्मॉलर यूनिट्स में आप चले जाएं तो सेंटीमीटर्स क्यूब, राइट। अब गैसेस जो हैं उनको आप कर रहे हैं, तो सिंस अ गैस एक्सपैंड्स to fill its container, if you know the volume of the container, you know the volume of the gas. For example, you can fill this oxygen cylinder. The capacity of this oxygen cylinder is 8 kilogram, for example. So that will be the volume of the gas. Now, next slide. The very important physical property is density. Density is very important because density is actually specific for every substance. And minerals, mostly the minerals, they are identified on the basis of the densities. For example, when you go for the mining and you get some ore, so ore में से जो अब आप extraction करते हैं different minerals, different elements, ठीक है, pure substances, they are based on the they are separated on the basis of the densities. So the molecules of the liquid, they are packed relatively close together, you know this thing, and consequently liquids are much denser than gases. So density is the factor which actually explains to what extent something is dense. Okay? So the density of a liquid is typical about the same as the density of the solid state of the substances. तो हम इसे कहते हैं कि density जो है वो of a substance divided by its volume. Okay? Density is an important physical property. Density is the mass of the substance per unit volume. Volume is the amount of the space. So we consider all these things, and by doing these things, we can develop a formula. Okay, this is the formula D. Let me get it properly. D is equal to mass divided by volume. So whenever you divide mass of any substance by its volume, it is called density. So this is the definition of density. The amount of matter in substance is the mass, and the amount of space in a substance is known as its volume. So if you go for the units of mass, the majority mass units normally we use for, this is kilograms, right, and grams. So if we go for the volume, it is meter cube, or centimeters cube. So what are the units of density? So the units of density, that is grams per centimeters cube, or kilogram per meter. So these are the density. So what is density? Density is something to measure to what extent the substance is dense. How can you describe them if you didn't know what they were? अगर कोई भी ऑब्जेक्ट्स है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ऑब्जेक्ट आपके सामने है और आप कैसे उसको डिस्क्राइब करेंगे? डिस्क्राइबिंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स बाय यूजिंग, so normally हम size, we consider about size, we consider about shape, we consider the color, we consider the texture of the object, and then we decide that we can easily describe any object and uses an object's properties. So how can we use that object? Okay, that's the another. नेक्स्ट प्रॉपर्टी आ जाती है इसकी. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज द वॉल्यूम एंड द डेंसिटी. इसके अलावा देयर आर सम अदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज एंड वी विल डिस्कस दोज प्रॉपर्टीज लेटर ऑन. थैंक यू सो मच.